Okay, so picture this. The atmosphere in the Bridgestone Arena, it's just electric, almost suffocating with excitement.
Right.
It's November 19, 2025, and Lainey Wilson isn't just, attending the CMAs. She is dominating them. She just hosted the whole show. She performed. And now this is the moment of truth.
Yeah, and you've got Keith Urban standing there holding the trophy for Entertainer of the Year. Everyone in the industry knows this is the absolute peak of his Whirlwind era.
So she accepts the award, her second Entertainer title in a row, by the way, and she starts giving the standard speech.
Thanking her team, thanking her family.
And then she spots him, her fiancé, Devlin Hodges, in the audience.
And right there, in their exact second, while the entire country music world is hanging on her every word.
Yeah.
She makes it fiercely personal.
She just pauses the entire industry celebration. The focus shifts from this huge Nashville success story to a Hollywood romance. And she drops this bombshell live on national TV.
And Doug, we're getting married next year. Come on now.
The place just erupted.
The spotlight was all hers, the reigning queen. And with just a few words, the biggest professional story in country music became this ultimate personal headline.
Lainey Wilson's final goodbye to single life.
She just cemented the timeline for her wedding to Duck Hodges for the whole world.
Welcome back to Starscope Report.
And hey, if you're loving these industry twists and Hollywood reveals, make sure you're subscribed.
Today, our mission is to dive deep into the source material around Lainey Wilson's seismic CMA night. We're going to explore how she navigated the absolute peak of her career while at the same time publicly announcing the timeline for her most fiercely guarded personal milestone.
We're unpacking the Triple Crown, the immediate and, fiery accusations that the show was rigged.
And the surprisingly unconventional wedding plans that kind of reject the whole Nashville glitz scene. Okay, let's get into it.
So let's start with the triumph itself. Because the sheer dominance, it was just undeniable.
This wasn't just a win. It was a total industry takeover.
Yeah. It was a definitive statement of power. She was the host, which immediately puts the focus on her.
Right.
And then she just cleans up in the top categories.
Yeah.
She took home her 4th consecutive Female Vocalist of the Year award.
4 in a row.
Clinched Album of the Year for Whirlwind, and then secured the night's biggest prize, Entertainer of the Year, for the 2nd time running.
And the weight of that Entertainer of the Year win is just enormous, especially when you look at who she was up against.
Yeah.
You had Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs, Cody Johnson, and Chris Stapleton all in that same category.
To host the entire show and then win over that specific field, that signals a really unique and, frankly, powerful level of industry approval.
The narrative is crystal clear.
Right. Nashville executives, artists, songwriters, they all see her as the face of the genre right now.
And she used that exact moment of maximum career visibility, getting the award from Keith Urban, thanking her parents, and Jesus, framing it as this professional and spiritual peak.
To pivot instantly
to
her private life.
Exactly. She had been engaged to Devlin Hodges since, February 2025, after he proposed at George Jones's estate.
But that shout out on stage?
Yeah.
That solidified the reality for the global audience.
Yeah.
It was a deliberate, audacious move. She put her private happiness on the very same pedestal as her career success.
It was this beautiful, chaotic moment of triumph and love, for sure. But this is where the triumph meets the drama. Because before the confetti even settled, social media wasn't celebrating her success. They were ripping it apart.
Stick around, because the minute Lainey Wilson stepped off that stage, social media exploded. They were claiming the entire award show was bought and paid for. We're going deep into the receipts on why fans thought the whole thing was biased and what she had to say about it.
Wow. That transition from winning to defending sounds exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
You sweep the biggest award show in your genre, and the next morning the headline is rigged.
It wasn't just intense. It was a firestorm. Viewers immediately went to X, formerly Twitter, accusing the CMA Awards of bias and a clear conflict of interest.
And the core complaint was that the whole formula just felt too neat.
Exactly. Lainey Wilson was the host. She was performing multiple times. She was the most nominated. And then, surprise, surprise, she won all the biggest prizes.
It looks a little fishy to the casual viewer, and we saw those specific critiques hit immediately. Like, ex-user at AB The Genius wrote about the pure awkwardness and called it a big conflict of interest.
I think they said something like, and the winner is me again.
Yeah. And this wasn't just about the main award. There was serious backlash over Whirlwind winning Album of the Year over albums from nominees like Morgan Wallen.
Right, Wallen's fans specifically felt completely overlooked.
Yeah, user at Digger6185 specifically mentioned Wallen, citing his massive commercial numbers. He said, 37 songs nonstop since 51625 and love every one of those hit songs. Get a clue, CMA.
And that criticism really highlights the fundamental tension in these awards, doesn't it?
It does.
Fans believe chart performance and, just being everywhere should dictate the win. But the industry is rewarding internal recognition. It's peer voted.
That's the key analytical point here. If the biggest artist commercially, and that's Wallen, with 37 songs dominating everything, doesn't win the top awards, fans feel cheated. They feel like the establishment is protecting its darlings.
It absolutely creates that perception. And we do have to provide the fact check here.
Okay.
The CMAs are determined by Country Music Association. Members, executives, artists, songwriters, all of them, they vote. It's designed to be a peer-voted award prioritizing industry respect over, say, sheer Spotify streams.
And there were people defending her on that point. Ex-user at K-Line pointed it out, saying the CMA Awards are voted on by CMA members, not airplays or chart rankings.
But Lainey Wilson, facing this head-on, she was having none of the, structural defense.
Oh, no.
She issued one of the most direct and forceful retorts we have seen from an artist right during her Female Vocalist of the Year speech.
She addressed the critics straight on, calling them out with extreme specificity.
She said, "For the folks that are sitting at home in your mama's basement, eating your Cheetos, trying to pit women against each other, y'all need to find something better to do."
Wow. The mama's basement and Cheetos call out. That is calculated trash talk that shifts the entire conversation instantly.
It's a brilliant move.
She doesn't engage the complex voting debate. She just attacks the critics' authenticity and their motivation.
Exactly. It changes the topic from, is the show rigged, to, why are you trying to tear down a successful woman from your mother's basement? It's a deflection that frames the criticism as petty jealousy, not a valid critique.
It certainly silenced some people, and it shows that even at her professional peak, she is ready to draw a fiercely defended line in the sand.
And speaking of fiercely defended lines and personal boundaries, we've seen how forcefully she defends her public career. Now let's turn to the fiercely guarded, intimate space she's creating for her marriage.
And the man she's chosen to share that quiet intention with, Devlin Hodges.
The next year, wedding is officially on the calendar, but the details are absolutely shocking.
Get ready for a wedding vision that completely ditches country music, but somehow still involves a horse.
We focus so much on the chaos of the CMA sweep, so let's turn to the man who inspired that famous stage shout-out.
Devlin Hodges. He's so central to this narrative of her finding balance.
He really is the ultimate contrast to her current supernova status. Duck Hodges, the former NFL and CFL player, became this cult sensation with the Pittsburgh Steelers during the 2019 season.
I remember that. He was known for stepping in as quarterback and leading those surprising comeback victories.
Yeah, and that nickname, Duck, actually came from his college coach at Samford University.
The story is great. Lainey even joked early on that she lied and told him her friends called her Goose just to keep the fun theme going.
Since retiring from football in 2022, he's made a total career pivot and is now a real estate agent. He joined Myers Cobb Realtors in April 2024.
So you have the reigning country music queen and the former quarterback turned successful realtor.
It's a great story. They started dating in 2021, went public in May 2023, engaged in February 2025. And now that the timeline is set for next year, we finally have a glimpse into their wedding vision.
And it is completely unconventional for a star of her magnitude.
It's the ultimate statement about authenticity. Lainey admitted that wedding planning is still in the early stages, mostly because her Whirlwind world tour schedule is insane. It runs well into 2027.
But she knows exactly what she doesn't want.
Her focus is purely on intimacy and setting boundaries. She explicitly told Odyssey she envisioned something small. She said, and I quote, "Everything else is a big old to-do. We just want this to be about what it's supposed to be about and have our friends and family there."
Okay, but here is the truly fascinating part. The part that speaks to her desire to carve out a personal space completely separate from her brand.
Get ready for this.
Despite being the reigning entertainer of the year, the biggest name in country, she revealed there will be no country artists performing at the wedding.
No country music at all. I mean, think about that.
She could have any country superstar there, yet she is purposefully divorcing her personal celebration from her professional life.
She's opting instead for the jazz route. and plans to hire a jazz band or two.
That is the most rebellious, anti-Nashville move possible. It speaks volumes about her intention to keep her marriage grounded.
Her brand is bell-bottom country, but her marriage will be jazz and intimacy. She wants the music to be purely atmospheric, not some celebrity showcase.
But they aren't totally rejecting their Southern roots.
Right. To blend that desire for intimacy with their shared Louisiana and Alabama background, they do plan to incorporate one very distinct country element.
They will probably leave the ceremony and enter the reception on horseback.
I love that blend. Can you just imagine the scene? A small, intimate ceremony, a jazz band is playing in the background, and then the reigning queen of country music and the former football star make their grand entrance on horses.
It's cinematic and profoundly Southern all at once.
And it's going to be emotional. Lainey revealed that Duck will likely be the first one to cry when he sees her walking down the aisle.
They seem so intent on making this moment purely theirs, away from the pressure cooker of award shows and social media rigging debates.
It creates this profound dichotomy that just defines her current life. On one hand, you have the CMA sweep, this chaotic, televised moment that immediately generated massive public controversy.
And required a forceful Cheeto defense retort to protect her public success.
Right. And on the other hand, you have this quiet, determined intention for the marriage. A small, jazz-themed wedding where the biggest star in country music chooses to focus only on family and intimacy, completely rejecting the industry's standard big old to-do.
Lainey Wilson has forcefully defended her wins and her authenticity by challenging her critics. So here's the question.
Given that she is so protective of this small personal wedding that is about what it's supposed to be about, how much of that intimacy can truly survive now that she has publicly cemented her fiancé Duck and their next-year plan on the single biggest stage in entertainment?
Yeah, that intimacy is no longer a private aspiration. It's a public expectation now. The pressure of balancing a supernova career with a deeply personal, fiercely guarded life is something only the biggest stars face. And Lainey Wilson has just invited the world to watch the timeline. That's the question we'll leave you with today.
And if you're loving these Hollywood twists and industry reveals, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead, connecting the dots between fame and reality.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.